Welcome into Eye on Northeast Kansas, the podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Bruner. This is where we recap the top interviews you've heard over the past week on Eye on Northeast Kansas, the TV show. It comes to you live 4 o'clock Central Time every afternoon from our WIBW TV studios in Northeast Kansas, the capital city of Topeka. And it has been a very tough week in the capital city of Kansas. We have been dealing with the rape and murder of a 5-year-old little girl, Zoey Felix. Emergency crews were called to a gas station in the southeast part of Topeka Monday evening on a 5-year-old girl who was unresponsive. They got there, they started CPR, they took her to the hospital, and unfortunately, Zoey passed away. There is a man, a 25-year-old man, who is arrested, and over the course of the week, the prosecutor, the Shawnee County District Attorney, has filed a count of capital murder in the commission of a rape in Zoey's death. There are a lot of questions that we have been working to get answers to over the past week. Neighbors tell us that Zoey and several adults, including her father, had been living in tents near a home where she had been living previously. They also say that there are records that we obtain that show that law enforcement was called to that house early in the month of September to check on Zoey's welfare, and they found that the house had no electricity at the time. They were told that Zoey was not actually living there, but they did see her, said she seemed in good spirits. They reported the incident and that contact to the Department for Children and Families, DCF, in the state of Kansas. Neighbors say that they actually had contacted DCF several times concerned about the conditions in which Zoey was living. They say they often were the ones who had taken care of her. They kept her fed and clothed when they felt like she was largely unsupervised, and they would see her in the streets by herself. So this has been very difficult for the community. There have been a lot of people asking questions, and I can just let everyone know that at 13 News in our newsroom, we have been asking those questions as well. We filed Kansas Open Records Act requests this week with the Topeka Police Department, the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office, with the Department for Children and Families, also with Shawnee County District Court. What's happening with DCF, though, those records that people are most interested in, because the question is, who should have been looking out for Zoey, and was there anything that should have been done further for her? We don't know, because we can't get those answers from DCF. There are children involved, so there's a lot of privacy issues that surround these family issues through the Department for Children and Families. As the case unfolds, we will continue to strive to get those answers for you. But as we mentioned, city leaders also have been speaking about this. Many of them say they are touched as well. So the news of Zoey's death became known on Tuesday morning. So she was taken to that gas station Monday evening. Law enforcement was called. First responders were called. She was taken to the hospital, pronounced dead that evening. Then they started searching not just the gas station area, but this field where reportedly, the neighbors say Zoey had been living in a tent for some period of time. It's not clear exactly how long. So the next morning, Tuesday morning, is when law enforcement confirmed that a child had passed away, and that child was Zoey. Tuesday night is when Topeka's governing body meets for their regular meeting, and several of the members spoke about this. So you're going to hear now, we'll share the comments from Councilwoman Karen Hiller, Councilman Tony Emerson, and Topeka's Mayor Mike Padilla.
It broadens out a little bit for me to thinking about the efforts that we're trying to make now for our homeless residents and the caregivers and protectors who are doing everything they can and are working to do more to help make sure that these circumstances don't occur again.
I have a whole page written out here, but I'm not going to be able to get through this. So it is a terrible thing, and there's 1,000 things that lead to these, and if we could go back, we would change all 1,000 things if we could. I'd just say to the family and the people, there's some ladies who reached out and helped this little girl, their neighbors, and I thank them. And just keep this little girl and her family in her prayers. I don't know what was happening in that family, but I know there's people in that family. I'm sure there's some people in that family that loved her. And I know the neighbors loved her, and we as a community loved her, and it's a horrible thing when this happens.
It is traumatizing at a community level. Remember that any loss of life from violence is something we cannot tolerate in our city. And the loss of the life of a child is so impactful. It should make us really think about how we treat our brothers and sisters and how we offer quick ridicule rather than help and advice.
And we should mention that the issue of homelessness is something that has been a real hot button contentious issue the city has been grappling with for several months now, exactly what we should be doing, how we should be doing it. And not only are the reports that Zoey was perhaps living unsheltered, that she was experiencing homelessness, but also the suspect who's been arrested in this case, 25-year-old Michael Cherry, his address is listed as homeless. So a lot of things happening here, and we will continue to monitor any developments and bring them to you on our channel, our website, WIBW.com. Also on the 4 o'clock this week, we started looking ahead to the city of Topeka's city council elections. Municipal elections are what folks in Kansas are deciding this November. That means the city councils, the city commissions, the school board races, all of those sorts of things have been happening. We have even numbered Topeka city council districts on the ballot, so those candidates have been coming in to visit. But also this week, we heard from Shawnee County's elections commissioner, Andrew Howell. He told us what has been happening behind the scenes and just how big of a process this is for them. Because around here, the big races for people in Shawnee County will be in the city of Topeka, where there are the council races on the ballot. But that's not all. Who else is going to be voting in Shawnee County this year?
We have smaller cities as well, Rossville, Silver Lake, Auburn, Willard. So there are other races in other smaller cities, and additionally school boards across the county.
And we have, what, 5 different school districts within Shawnee County?
Yeah, and then there's even some that bleed over into other counties, but we still have those ballots. So there's a total of 9 different school districts in certain situations.
So there's a lot you're keeping track of. How many different ballot combinations are there?
A little over 300. We're busy making sure those are ready to go here right now.
So what is in place to make sure that I get the correct one of those 300 different options that are out there? How do you do that, and what processes, procedures are in place?
So one of the things that we spend a lot of time doing is making sure, first of all, that our database is set up correct. That's the single most important thing. Second, we train people. And if you're a voter, you should ask for and look carefully at the ticket that comes out of the poll book itself. So that ticket will have your name and your specific ballot style number. We use the ballot style number because I think it's more accurate and easier for people to verify. So look at that ticket when you're getting your ballot handed to you and confirm that it is correct and what's being handed to you is what you see on that ticket.
And we can check that in advance, correct? Is it myvoteinfoks.org, something like that?
Voter View on the Secretary of State's website. You can look at it even now. It's ready to go. Those ballots are out there, so you can check them out now.
And I know I looked at mine and I was like, oh, that's who the school board candidates are this time around. Is there anything new? There was a lot of debate over potential changes in election law this past legislative session. What new might we see or not see that we're wondering about?
I think most of what you'll see, there's some internal process changes for us, like we have to really track any handoff of ballots internally. So we're going to have some additional forms internally that we use with our election workers to make sure that we're tracking and verifying who's handling ballots internally. I don't think there'll be a lot of change for voters that they're going to see, but we are still doing, and people can still come and see our testing of the equipment on the 31st of this month. Anybody that wants to see that testing, come watch it. We'll show you how it's done and how we know that the ballots are accurate and correct. So a lot of internal things, but mostly things that voters will see, probably not a significant change, other than redistricting has made a few changes for us.
And that's the Topeka City Council districts.
Precincts across the county have changed slightly, which means that we have to change some of the polling locations. So for 10 to 15% of voters, you'll see a small change in some of your polling locations as a result of that every 10-year redistricting process and the changes in where the precinct boundaries are.
Are you sending out those cards too to remind voters where they should go?
We have sent the cards out, but we're sending an additional letter to those that are affected. So if you see a letter from us, please pay attention to it. It's probably letting you know there's a change or something you need to pay attention to.
It's real mail.
It's real mail. There's real information in there. Additionally, though, you can go to Voter View and look, and we will have your correct polling place in there as well. So you can look online. We're sending additional information as well.
But some big changes that were talked about, like, for example, I was saying, gosh, if you get a mail ballot, do you still have that 3-day grace period for it to arrive in the office? You do.
Yes. Yep. You can send it, and as long as we receive it up till 3 days after Election Day, and it's got the correct timestamp, postage stamp on it that it was Election Day that it was sent, it'll still be received and still count if everything else is correct.
We are on the timeline now. So what is the timeline? How long do we have left to register to vote?
Registrations, you can still register until the 17th, so you've got almost 2 weeks yet to register. The 18th is the day that mail goes out. If you've already requested a mail ballot, we're going to have those ballots all go out on the 18th.
So you can request those already?
You can request those. You can fill out that application, email it to us, fax it to us. You can fill it out and walk it in or mail it, either way.
And when is the last day to request those advance ballots?
You can request those through the I believe it's the 31st. So you've still got some time yet. There's still, almost 30 days.
And your in-person advance voting? When does that start?
That starts on the 23rd. So that's basically 2 weeks of 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. weekdays. And then that last Monday before Election Day, it closes at noon. So I just always like to emphasize that. It closes at noon the Monday before, so try to get in there a little sooner.
I'm a traditionalist. I like to go in person on Election Day and make it the day. But if you have a question about any of these timelines or voter registration, head to your local elections office website in Shawnee County. That is there online, and you can get all the questions answered. Thank you so much, Commissioner Howell. Appreciate you being here. November 7th is Election Day. As you heard, still time to register. This is also National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and it is the perfect time for Topeka's Capper Foundation to be expanding its footprint for its Dialogue coffee shops. Another one opened up this past week. Capper CEO Zach Ahrens and Dialogue founder Caitlin Halsey were with us. Since its inception 4 years ago, Topeka's Dialogue Coffee House has fostered conversation about how people of varying abilities can contribute to the workforce. The concept was so popular, Dialogue joined forces with Capper Foundation and now expanding its footprint. Founder Caitlin Halsey is here with she is now Capper's Employment Services Director. She is here with Capper CEO Zach Ahrens. You've got a dual title now, which is so exciting. How long ago did the first Dialogue open?
We opened April of 2019. So just 4.5 years ago.
4.5 years ago.
Yes.
The merger with Capper happened when?
April of this year.
April of this year. And what has unfolded since then? It's pretty phenomenal how you've expanded the footprint already.
Yeah, we are super excited that we've already opened one additional store at Fellowship Bible Church, 10th and Urish in Topeka. And we're looking to keep expanding. We're opening our second one this week.
This week? And where is that one going to be? And how is that one maybe even more unique than the other two?
Sure, that one is in Silver Lake, 301 East Railroad, and we are partnering with the Silver Lake School District there, so we're super excited for that partnership to expand.
For those who aren't familiar or haven't been to Dialogue, first of all, you're missing out on great coffee and cookies. But other than that, what is the concept? Who are the people who are working for you?
Yeah, so we have a mixture of staff, but we're really proud of our team of individuals with disabilities and the unique opportunity that they have to show the world that they are so capable of work and being exceptional at what they do.
Zach, how does this play into Capper's mission, and especially as we are talking about National Disability Employment Awareness Month?
Right, so absolutely. So the mission of Capper Foundation is to build abilities and empower people of all ages living with disabilities. And so this really allows us to reach out to more individuals and to be able to provide those job readiness skills and to be able to work alongside their friends and their neighbors in the community. And I think that's one of our favorite parts, is being able just to have great people that interact with their friends and neighbors and really learn a meaningful skill, earn a paycheck, and be able to experience all of those things of having that and then reinvesting back into their community in which they live.
As you see Caitlin and Dialogue's employees and her team in action, what maybe misconceptions can that dispel for people?
Right, so I think the first piece is just the incredible nature of these individuals. All of our team at Dialogue have these soft skills that we all desire to have so much in employees, people that are loyal, that look you in the eye when you speak to them, people that genuinely have a heart of caring. And we see that, but also we have some fantastic baristas. We have some amazing people working registers that I don't even understand as I'm trying to look over their shoulders, that really are learning these great skills. And those that are being trained help train others. And that's been one of the really cool things as we've continued to grow in response to the need and the opportunity, is people that were trained are now helping train others. And so you think about how empowering that is for people of all abilities and just the independence that provides. And it's just really been encouraging to see.
Caitlin, it does take a lot of partnerships to make this go. So in addition to yourself and all the folks at Capper, what are some of the other community groups that have kind of stepped up and are really reaching out and saying, we want to support this effort?
Absolutely. I think even just this month, with it being National Disability Employment Awareness Month, we've been able to partner with local businesses who want to see our mission expand into their place of work. So we've been catering those places, but it's been super fun to be partners with Fellowship Bible Church and First Baptist Church and USD 372 in Silver Lake. And yeah, just to see the community rally around this idea and this vision has just been really, really special.
Did you ever expect this sort of response? I mean, when you started this out and said, I just want to foster dialogue and give people opportunity, now you have like so many people who want to come work for you.
Yes, for sure. I don't know that I ever expected it to grow like this, but it has been really sweet, and it just speaks to the need in our community for something like this, and we know that with the growth, creates more jobs, and that's what's really important to me.
I was just at the Economic Outlook Conference this morning, and Zach, this is potential employees.
Absolutely.
In a group that should not be overlooked.
The Dialogue coffee shops are just fantastic. If you're ever in the capital city, look one up and head on in. They serve up smiles with every cup. We wind things down this week with a little bit of fun. Last year, Jeff Kready, who is a Topeka native, he was gone on to have a very successful career on Broadway and in theater and musical theater. He and his wife, Nikki Renee Daniels, who also is a very accomplished performer in her own right, they decided to develop a Christmas show for Jeff's hometown in the capital city. It was so popular, they are bringing it back and they've expanding it to 2 performances. So Nikki was with us on the red couch to help us get ready for the holiday season.
I would say better half, but we don't want to make Jeff upset.
Well, you know.
And the kids aren't here, and we all know that they have the stealing the show element of the family going on. So this is so fun, Nikki. For those who aren't familiar with your background, you are definitely the equally talented half of this couple because you have quite the resume. What have you all been doing?
Well, Jeff and I met doing a Broadway show together, doing Les Mis on Broadway together.
A Broadway love story.
That's right, a showmance that worked out, and combined we've done 17 Broadway shows. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So what else have you been in besides Les Mis where you met?
Shows that people would know of, probably The Book of Mormon, Hamilton. I was just in company.
Hamilton? I don't know. Has anyone heard of Hamilton?
Just a little show. Jeff and I were both in the revival of Company last year that won the Tony Award for Best Revival, so done quite a few little shows.
I'm still disappointed that you all don't get to have one of the statues from being in the
know.
show, but whatever.
We deserve it, I think.
But you should get a Tony Award for what's going to be happening at the Topeka Performing Arts Center in December. How did you all come up with this concept that started last year?
Well, you know, the Topeka arts community is such a rich environment, and it fosters so many wonderful young artists. It's why Jeff was able to graduate from Washburn and move to New York and have a successful career on Broadway because of all of the people that nurtured his talent here. So we wanted to put together a show that featured all of those wonderful people, like the Shawnee Choral Society, and this year we have the Kansas Youth Chorale performing with us, and students from high schools all over Topeka, Kansas area performing with us. So we really wanted to sort of give back to the community that's given so much to Jeff.
Maria Cuevas is going to be part of the show.
Yes.
Your girls are going to be back as part of the show.
They are, yes.
What is it like for them, and I know you're not them, but how old are they now, and what is it like for them growing up in a Broadway family? I mean, do you push them toward the arts? Have you kind of let them lead the way? How do you handle that?
I mean, a little bit of both. You know, they can't help but be around it all. They're 6 and 10. They're in first and fifth grade, and they actually do go to an elementary school for musically gifted children in New York called the Special Music School. So Louise has been playing the flute for the past year, and Lena's been playing violin for now 6 years. And so, you know, they come by the musical talent pretty honestly.
I would say so.
But at the same time, you know, they're not impressed by us at all.
Which is pretty good to go home and just kind of, you know, you get down a notch
yeah,
or
it's
two.
humbling. It's humbling for sure.
What do you love about the Christmas season that makes you as a family want to share this with everyone?
Well, you know, it's a time to be with family and a time to celebrate the love that you have for everyone. I mean, over the pandemic break, you know, we weren't performing, so we really got to spend a lot more time with our families and get to spend those holidays that we wouldn't normally get to spend with family because we're performing in New York. We got to spend more time, and so it really highlighted just how special all of that time is and how we shouldn't take it for granted. So
you have a lot of special guests in the show this year, but there is going to be a big debut in the show.
Yes.
And there's going to be a little bit going on in Topeka tomorrow if you see y'all on the streets. What's going to be debuted during this Christmas show?
Well, Stephen Letvak, who's a Broadway composer, Tony-nominated Tony-nominated Broadway composer of The Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, which is a show that Jeff did. He wrote a song for this commercial for Visit Topeka called Topeka. And so it'll be premiering at our concert, and we're shooting the commercial now.
Exciting.
Yes.
What is your favorite Christmas song that you said, we need to have this in the show?
My personal favorite is Oh Holy Night. I think a lot of people love it.
Yes.
And this year we're doing a special version, a trio version with one of our daughters. So I'm pretty excited about that.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, the magic of Christmas. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. How is it different for you, like actually being so integrally involved in putting together this show versus just simply showing up, someone gives you a script or a score and you just perform it and that's it?
Right. Well, I mean, there's so much of our hearts that are involved in it. You know, we really want to put on a special show for this community that, like I said, has given so much to Jeff and his family. And so we really tried to find material that will highlight the talents of this community and our family.
Well, you can be an honorary Topekan anytime you want.
Absolutely.
The show is when, and are tickets on sale now?
Yes, they are. It's December 23rd.
And 2 shows this year.
Yes, 2 shows, one at 1:30 and one at 7.
And 2 shows because it was just so much fun. You're
Yeah.
doubling up on the fun
We
this
sold
year.
really well, even though it was the coldest day in 30 years in Kansas. We sold really well, so we're trying to double the fun this year.
TopekaPerformingArtsCenter.com is where you can get those tickets, and those tickets are on sale now. Nikki, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking time to come in. And yeah. So much fun to meet Nikki and have her visit, and they're going to be back as we get closer to show date as well. Thank you for being with us. Remember, you can see the videos from these segments and all of our guests on Eye on Northeast Kansas by checking our website, WIBW.com. I also post them on my Facebook page, WIBW Melissa Bruner, and of course on our WIBW 13 News YouTube channel. Be sure to click subscribe while you're there. If you would like to watch live, of course, we stream on WIBW.com Monday through Friday, 4 o'clock Central Time, so we could see you there. Until then, we'll see you on the red couch.